Since the very beginning of The Handmaid's Tale, June's arc has been defined by one thing: Hannah. While June wanted to escape Gilead and reunite with Luke, her biggest goal has been to save her daughter. Once she finally escaped Gilead, she immediately began working to get Hannah back. The Handmaid's Tale Season 5 saw Mayday do a risky mission in an attempt to get planes to Hannah's school and rescue her, something that was foiled when Commander Lawrence had the planes shot down. Despite Hannah's importance to June, she has been barely mentioned in The Handmaid's Tale Season 6. Most of the final season has had her focused on killing the commanders and rescuing the handmaids, which is a much larger goal. While this is important, it unfortunately makes it seem as if June has forgotten about Hannah. June should be more actively attempting to rescue Hannah, especially because the instability in Gilead could make her even harder to find. The Handmaid's Tale, which followed June Osborne in her quest to purge the world of wickedness, came to an end today after 8 years and 6 seasons on Hulu. Even if the revolt achieved some victories, Gilead endures because at the beginning of the episode, many of June's closest allies, including Aunt Lydia and Janine, are imprisoned there. Although Hannah, her cherished daughter, is not free, she finds out that she will be nearer to her. The episode opens with June getting back in touch with Serena and her infant son, Noah. Throughout the most of the early seasons, these women were mortal adversaries, but they have since changed greatly. Although they could never be friends, Serena and June, her former handmaid, eventually came to appreciate one another. June informs Serena that they couldn't have succeeded without her, and Serena congratulates her on her win. When Serena offers June her sympathies for Nick's passing, which occurred last week on an airplane with his father-in-law, Commander Wharton, and Commander Lawrence, their relationship briefly becomes heated. When Serena says to June, if you ever thought you had a real choice, he would have chosen you, the tone of the conversation lightens. June smiles warmly at Serena as she holds Noah. Serena is struggling with the reality that too many people want her dead. Thus, she will never be able to go back to Gilead. June, unsure about her future self, proposes that she simply be Noah's mother. Serena is escorted by Mark Twillo to a bus that will transport her to a secure location for her and her child. Serena has a lot to say because this might be the last time she and June see one another. With tears in her eyes, she continues, "June, I feel ashamed when I think back on some of the things that were done to you, the things that I did, and that I made you do." June responds, "You ought to be." "Yes, and I'm sorry," Serena continues. "I apologize if words have any meaning at all." Then, for each of these ladies, something genuinely heavenly occurs that June had previously been unable to accomplish. "Serena, you have my forgiveness." Knowing how difficult it was for the former to say those words and mean them, June responded, "I do," as Serena sobbed. With sincere regret in her heart, Serena thanks June and says, "God bless you, June." The malevolent bonds that held the two ladies together have now been broken. To be honest, neither Mark nor I could believe what he had just seen. June responded, "You have to start somewhere, right?" When he told her that she had been giving to Serena. June, who always sets a good example. He also wants to tell you that her former area is now open. When she asks Mark whether he is Captain Twillo, he responds, "It's Commander, actually." She then proceeds to thank him. As she continues, she pauses and peers into an unoccupied store. Beside her, a woman reveals that the area was once an ice cream business. I shrieked when they panned the stranger. Dr. Emily Malik, played by Alexis Bledel, is back. She left the show in the 4th season, so viewers haven't seen her since. June is equally astounded. Because of their shared handmaid experience, the women's embrace is irrevocably altered. After they reunite, Emily says she has been in Bridgeport, which she describes as a hot spot for the rebellion. She goes on to say, "I was in Martha. The commander was a friend." After catching up, the two enjoy a pleasant afternoon together. Mark later had June taken for a crucial event in the middle of the night. It's chilly outside and she's half asleep when she notices a figure approaching her with a couple men in tow. Janine is the woman who has been flung upon the frozen snow. Janine is a warrior, albeit a little worn out. Despite having endured far worse, she continues to battle for her life. In even more startling developments, Naomi then shows up holding Angela and Aunt Lydia. Naomi and Angela, whom she reared but who was born to Janine and Naomi's late husband, Commander Putnam, exchange a touching farewell. At first, Janine gave her the name Charlotte, but Naomi argued that the daughter should be called Angela. Unaware that Naomi is carrying the kid, Janine is cuddled up in June's lap. "Secrets here," June says to Janine. When Janine realizes it's her baby girl, she is shocked and starts to laugh and cry at the same time. Janine is overwhelmed and thankful as it dawns on her that they have been reunited forever. Given how difficult this was for her, June thanks Naomi for acting morally. June expresses gratitude to Aunt Lydia for asking her to look after Janine and Charlotte. June quoted Psalm 1.1 when she observed, "Blessed is the woman who does not walk in stride with the weak." In this finale, Moss does a fantastic job portraying a lady who endured torture and horror, had her heart repeatedly crushed, yet managed to live. One by one, she is witnessing the wonderful results of her sacrifice. She conveys something through her facial expressions and feelings that words could never. June has reached this point as a result of everything she has experienced. June and Luke are among the many individuals waiting for their loved ones at the bus terminus where she has returned. June sees Holly Maddox, her mother, and Nicole, her daughter, whom she shares with Nick R.I.P. There are smiles everywhere during this large reunion. June shares with Nicole her future goals, which include defending all young girls from Gilead, including herself and her sister. As June informs her youngest that she will have to leave her once more in the company of her grandmother, Holly listens with compassion. Though she knows Holly is terrified to hear that June must continue to battle, Holly is happy of her daughter's development and recognizes her strengths. She pledges to share her mother's warrior qualities with Nicole. June and Luke discuss their relationship. They don't know one another as well as they once did after everything that has happened, but perhaps there is still time to start over. In a heartwarming moment, June informs Luke that she is still determined to win back their daughter, Hannah. After learning of her intentions to go back to Gilead, Luke informs June that he will meet her there. The character of Luke has changed significantly after he became rebellious. After everything that has transpired, the two appear to be more in line with their life goals and identities by the end of this episode. Luke's assurance to June that it's acceptable to love Nick and the other individuals in her life is a prime example. June is in a better place, but she still has a lot of emotions and trauma to work through. Serena is annoyed after landing in a spot to spend the night. Her son doesn't have access to supplies like clean clothes, diapers, or wipes. She recalls that June gave her a suitcase, and when she opens it, everything they require and more appears out of nowhere. Good old June, always eager to help and considering other people's concerns. The burned-out remnants of the Waterford house where it all started for June are revisited later. Appreciative of her survival, she gazes into her former room. Encouraged by her mother and Luke to create a book about her journey, June pulls out an audio recorder and starts narrating her events. She cuts off her recorder at the last second. June greeted the camera with a smile and added, "My name is Ofred."